Seems this is more important than what I was doing. Today today I fed a squirrel or a chipmunk by hand. It's taken me about a month to create the comfort. It's at a job I'm working on. It's a house, a renovated house, and there's a lot of squirrels living around there, and I confuse them as all being the same one mostly. Though today I noticed one that I was trying to feed and another I was trying to feed. One had a lot of gray toward their neck and their butt, more toward their butt, and the other one was very red or orange. Um, but anyway, yeah, one today. So I've been seeing squirrels in this particular, or chipmunks in this particular place at this job I'm working at. And I've been considering them all the same squirrel, but they're not. But anyway, over the course of the month, I guess in particular, this one squirrel has, through the law of averages and also like that piece of structured randomness that defies averages, there was a particular chipmunk who trusted me today. And when I put out my hand with seeds, that chipmunk came right up to my hand. That's only happened one other time in my life, and when it had happened before, I was at a job. It was a different job, different town, you know, 40 miles away, 30 miles away. And I hadn't thought of it. It's just this, I just so happened to have something of food in my hand, and this chipmunk just so happened to come up to me. I happened to feed him, or her. And I was like, wow, awesome. But back then, I was a little bit more just like, wow, awesome, beautiful world. Whereas today, it hits me very deeply. On a structural, spiritual level, you know. Later today, after that happened, when I was in the midst of confusing a different squirrel with that squirrel, when I noticed it was gray. But I still tried to go down just as I did with the previous one, almost in the same place. I put down my handful of pumpkin seeds. They like the pumpkin seeds, as well they should. And I put down my handful of pumpkin seeds. Now this squirrel obviously had also been part of this interaction because I've been confusing all these squirrels. Because when I walk around the property, which I don't do much, but sometimes I walk around the house, just looking at some of the outside work I still have to do because windows were replaced. So, but like the big thing is to try to get the inside done so that people can move in. Then you can deal with the outside. That's always the way it goes, especially in the summer, which is counterintuitive, but because if you get all the outside work done in the summer and the inside ain't done by the winter, that ain't gonna fly. You get the inside work done first. And any chipmunk that's got a burrow will tell you that. But so I go up to this other squirrel, who at first blush I thought was the same one, but wasn't, with a handful of seeds. Chipmunk. I do that all the time. As it so happens, I just learned today Chipmunks are part of the squirrel family, so I'm technically correct. I'm scientifically correct. But as it so happens, squirrel. I believe, from what I've learned today, that chipmunks are part of the rodent family, as the largest rodent. Squirrels are not rodents. Yeah, whatever. So, but this squirrel, alright, it seemed as though to me, because if they're not familiar with you at all, it seems they just go way the fuck off. They're just like fucking out of there. Right. My theory so far is that chipmunks are so lonely. And for some reason, they recognize kindness at an intuitive, instinctual level. That kindness can be summoned. That kindness can be called upon. That trust. That trust. So when I bent down to this other squirrel, it ran about 2 feet away from me under some. This house I'm working at has right at the front door. There's like there are several doors. It's hard to call. It's hard to say which one's the front, but the one I call the front door. There's a little. There's a picket fence making a square, essentially around the front door with a couple entrances. And there's so many plants there. There's like 30 different plants in this very tight, like 10 by 10, 12 by 12 area of lawn. So there's tons of underbrush at this time of year. And chipmunks typically, when they flee, because wherever they are, they're in a place where like food is. So when they flee, they don't want to go too far away. I'm conjecturing, but it's conjecture from study, right? How more scientific can you be? I had a chipmunk eat out of my hand today. That's pretty scientific. No? But this other chipmunk, it scurried away a little. And because I've noticed before when I'd see him go, pew, I'd think because of the speed of that, pew, I'd think they were going, pew. But only over the last couple days I realized they really only go, pew, a little ways and watch. And especially being as though I've been quote unquote training these chipmunks. How do I train? I want to love them. I want to help them. Why? Because they interact. Because I've imagined myself in their shoes. Because I've imagined their loneliness, and I've imagined the ecstasy of what they may feel, knowing, rarely, as few know, that something bigger than them loves them deeply. As Saint Raphael, displayed to Enoch. Take it as a myth, take it as the truth, take it as a story, take it as whatever you want. But today I displayed that one way. It's fucked up, man. But like today, in a sense, I became an archangel for 2 squirrels. One of them trusted and accepted me. One of them wanted to. Why? There were others who just completely fled. So in a sense, there were 3. Even though those others who fled were many. It's hard to tell a story like this. I'm trying. The one who fled was older. The one who fled but stayed, just a few feet, a meter, a yard away. And so, I tucked my head under these plants, and she, that chipmunk, was visibly quivering. And I tried emotionally. That's the thing. We think animals don't think, but we also think with our emotions, right? We put words to those emotions, but we don't need the words to know how we feel. And I know that chipmunk, a little older with the gray hair, so 2, 3 years old, was so tired and so lonely that after just a small amount of time of kindness shown by me, that chipmunk was hopeful enough to say, I can't believe it. My own mother turned on me. I never knew my father. Right? This is the chipmunk. I never knew my father. My own mother turned on me. My brothers and my sisters, most are dead. The few who remain steal from me. The love I felt at my mother's belly, I knew for 2 months. 1 month after my dad pulled out, who I don't know, who also tries, if not to kill me, also steals from me, and thus kills me in my winter. If you're nice to a chipmunk, you show a sentient something they've never seen. Now, I'm not just saying we should be nice to chipmunks or this or that, but what I'm saying is, okay, they're mean to each other. They steal from each other, but why? Hawks and owls, day and night. In the day, hawks. In the nighttime, owls. In the day, the dog, the fox, the coy dog, the coyote. At night, the domesticated cat, the house cat, the wild cat. All day, every day, below ground, snakes, etc. Even their own kind. Squirrels, red squirrels, other chipmunks, their own family. The chipmunks are really nice, and the only reason they're mean to each other is because everything else in the fucking world that ain't them is trying to fucking kill them. Besides that, they are incredibly beautiful. Incredibly beautiful. Anyway, as I was right there, like the distance from me to my phone, 2 years old and geriatric. Shivering. Staring at me eye to eye. Shivering. With my hand out. And me in my little playful human way, and of course I'm like, come on, come on, come on. Not realizing that Jobian faith, like the faith of Christ on the cross, right? That's the faith that squirrel, that sentient, that vertebrate is putting in me at that moment. Frozen by, at the same time, that faith and that trust and that desire, all mixed together. Not any one of them would do it. The desire for love, the desire to trust. Could I have a friend? The extreme loneliness of tens and hundreds of billions of chipmunks around the world every day. It's fucking real as shit. It sounds fucked up, and it's like, what about people? What about people? Exactly. I'm not saying this like animals above people. I'm not saying this the way a lot of people do. Is like, oh, human beings, time has come and it's time to just like give it all up and give it all back to the earth, or pagan this. No, that's not what I'm saying. So anyway, in this case with the squirrel, I decided, I realized that, and I was like, oh, so I just dropped the seeds, and I'm hoping maybe tomorrow or the next day I can make friends, or maybe a week. It seems like I'm gonna be at this job for a while. It's taking for fucking ever, but maybe I can make friends in time to come, and I'm doing it for spiritual purposes. It's interesting at an intellectual level, but I can't help but identify with that chipmunk. I can't help it. Alone. Completely alone. 3.5 months after a chipmunk dude gets horned up, humps on a mama chipmunk. Say that's your folks. 3.5 months later, that's it. You're completely on your own. Completely. None of this 18 or 28 year shit. 3.5 months. If you're a human being, your daddy hump your mama, 3.5 months later, you can still be aborted. I mean, you're not even halfway to getting out of the fucking sluice gate. But for a squirrel, baby chipmunk, you're on your own. No 401k, no social security, no dental plan. Better hope them teeth don't break on an extra hard net. Just saying. It's just, that's how I felt, you know. But yeah, especially to see that poor soul, quiver and shake, made me really sad. It made me identify. And just imagining, the billions and billions and billions of chipmunks and how we could help them. In a sense, like how easily they come to us, how easily, if we treat them with respect and dignity, they become our friends and love us. And their beautiful hands. Alright, just had to get that out. That actually wasn't why I made this video. I made it because I was going to do another throat singing thing. So maybe I'll give that a try now. Over the last couple days, because I've often thought about making a book about like a dog. I've thought about the dog book for like 10 years. The chipmunk book I've only thought about for a couple years, but I just started writing a couple days ago and I'm feeling a little better because I've been not feeling so great. So who knows? But whether or not I make the book, like the point about the chipmunks, it's pretty big. There's this girl who makes chipmunk videos of this chipmunk she befriended and who befriended her, and they just like hang out, you know. And like the value you give, especially to a chipmunk. You only have to watch nature for so long to be like, yeah, a chipmunk's better than a squirrel. A chipmunk's better than a red squirrel or a gray squirrel. A chipmunk's better than a mouse or a rat. A chipmunk's better than a snake. I don't know. Is that speciesist? I don't know. Could all those other species be brought up to the level in my mind of the beauty of a chipmunk? Maybe. Probably not the snake, right? I have no ill will towards snakes. Chipmunks, what I love about chipmunks, this is it. And it's obvious. It's obvious if you only even look a little. What's beautiful about chipmunks, this is the fucking truth, man, is chipmunks want to be loved. And they are alone.